I have to go out. It's better to be close to nature.
Organic weapons in human civilization, or the effect of supernatural positive power or evil powers? The rulers of all stages in the whole world are taking challenges for the health sectors and fighting. Besides, they are also handling and taking challenges for economics.
In this situation, are all human beings prepared to get the adore and proximity of nature?
Not the people of society, but the people of nature wants to fight COVID-19 also. They want to go to the route of prosperity of economics where they were actually staying in the past.
Meanwhile, Bangladesh was going forward as a developing country in this third world. Bangladesh has become one of Asia's most remarkable and unexpected success stories in recent years. Once one of the poorest regions of Pakistan, Bangladesh remained an economic basket case, racked by poverty and famine, for many years after independence in 1971. In fact, by 2008, conditions seemed so hopeless that, when Bangladesh registered faster growth than Pakistan, it was dismissed as a fluke. Bangladesh is booming. Here's why. One, Sheikh Hasina's leadership and previous economists such as late Saifur Rahman, late Shah Ms. Kibria, Abul Mal Abdul Mohit, and today's AHM Lotus Kamal's contribution should be focused with importance.
Well, I would bring my 35 years of experience in this field in different countries into play. I would not follow the standard prescriptions. I think we need a break from the past. I think we need more creative budgeting. I think we need more creative economic policies. The main theme of our government would be equality of opportunity. Every person in the society should have a chance to use their talents to the welfare of society and for their own benefit. And that is not available now. The second thing is I would strengthen regulation. I would tighten the conditions under which projects are managed to reduce the corruption. You won't have the case of this, I think, 4,000 or 6,000 taka being spent to carry a pillow upstairs. That's just a small example, but the corruption is endemic. And I'm not saying it can be reduced to zero in a day because there's a culture of corruption, but I will also focus on that. I believe that within the budget, there's enough money to be saved to shift to pro-poor programs. For example, it's a 523,000 crore budget. So if we took 35,000 crore and saved it in different areas where there's wasteful expenditures, we could shift that and spend it on each village in the country. So there's 70,000 villages, we put 50 lakhs each year into village infrastructure development. There will be some problems in terms of implementation initially, but the money will reach the villages and reach the people of this country. The current Dhaka-centric model of development is something I don't accept. I believe that the rural areas must also be carried with us and share in the development, and I believe that we should set up 10 growth centers, at least 10, around the country. Instead of focusing on Dhaka and Chittagong alone, there would be 10 centers of industrial and service sector growth throughout the country. So I have a completely different vision from the previous 4 finance ministers, but that is because I'm conditioned by a different experience of working in many countries, learning what to do, and also, more importantly, what not to do, what is difficult to do. So I think I've been able to gather some experience in that, and I would try to apply it for the good of the people of this country, all the people of this country, not 10 families or 15 families, as is currently the case.
Great.
So you have my economic philosophy.
There is no doubt that the way Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman saw dream for the economics of an independent Bangladesh, in the same way Tajuddin Ahmed, two late President Ziaur Rahman and Hussein Mohammad Ershad, and very talented economists like Dr. Devopriya Bhattacharya, Dr. Muzaffar Ahmed, A.B. Mijajizul Islam, and Abul Barakat has been keeping contribution.
On the side, former economist Shah M.S. Kibria's son, Dr. Reza Kibria, is working in Bangladesh as an economist in an atmosphere which is globally in the unsolicited exit of his father.
I began my career after completing work on my doctorate at Oxford. I joined the International Monetary Fund in Washington, D.C. as a member of the Economist program. I worked there about a decade and then returned to Dhaka to work as a consultant for various agencies, including the World Bank. I also taught briefly at Dhaka University for a few years. And I was doing consultancy work around the world. I was advisor to the Minister of Finance in Papua New Guinea and handled projects in China, in India, in the UAE, Kuwait, other countries. I rejoined the IMF as an advisor to East Afritac, based in Tanzania, serving 7 countries in East Africa. I was the macro-fiscal advisor, so the governors of the central bank and mainly, in fact, the ministers of finance called me for various advisory services. I left that after my mother fell ill and I came back to Dhaka.
Dr. Reza Kibria wants to decorate the economy of Bangladesh just like the way his father did, whether he's from an important position in the state or not.
Reza sees his own soil and Bangladesh inside the painting of his mom, Asma Kibria.
Future of globalization under COVID-19. What do you think?
I think that COVID-19 has probably slowed down the process or actually reversed it temporarily. I believe the process of globalization will continue. Perhaps after an interruption due to COVID-19, there will be maybe a 2 or 3 year disruption. But the benefits of globalization are so great for the world economy, for every country. As long as the benefits are properly shared, I think that the process will strengthen and there's no way to fully reverse it in the future. I believe that for 3 years, however, for 2 or 3 years, the world economy may be going through a major crisis because of the long-term effects of COVID-19. And in this country, we must turn to more internal sources of growth. And there, the economy, the economic management must be strengthened. We must ensure that the vulnerable groups in the society are protected, and we must ensure their purchasing power is not totally destroyed. Their savings are gone due to COVID-19. Whatever little savings the poorest 40% of the people had is gone. And it is vital that sources of income and maybe cash, unconditional cash support be provided to these, to the vulnerable groups. And within the budget, there needs to be a major restructuring. We move towards labor-intensive projects that give incomes to the rural poor. We move towards away from wasteful expenditures, and we try to control corruption. It's understood that a very large proportion of resources actually is eaten up by corruption. The government needs to strengthen its efforts in that area. It's not going to be easy, because over the last 30 years in particular, maybe longer, a culture of corruption has grown through the political system through the bureaucracy, and even in private businesses, one can see this culture has become a serious problem. So it'll be a tough battle, but I think we can win it, and we can come out of COVID-19 a stronger nation with greater social justice, greater equity, and prepared to meet the challenges of globalization in the decade.
Reza Kibria is moving in his way by giving importance to the primitive questions of the workers of media.
We know that many authors and economists give different definitions about economy. So the question is, what does Reza Kibria thinks about economy as an economist?
The economy, are you referring to if it's to the Bangladesh economy, it's a very unequal economy. The divergence in incomes is at very high levels, measured and unmeasured. There's two types. In our country, I think, is defined by the very, very serious inequality between the rich and poor. There is a situation where people own private planes, and 30% of the people of this country cannot feed their children properly. So it's a big problem. The economy, it's important for such a large economy, and everyone recognizes we are a large economy, that it be well managed, that it have a strong financial sector sort of underpinning growth, that it have good governance, that it have strong regulation to make sure there are no abuses of labor or abuses that apply to consumer goods. These things are probably the big weaknesses I see in our economy, but I feel the Bangladesh economy is one with enormous potential, and I think that some major economic powers now recognize that this is a country with a large surplus of well-trained, skilled labor, and we have the manpower now to service some major manufacturing and service sectors.
On the other side, the society of the world is going with culture, politics, and economics. Although capitalism, power, and sex is counted as the actual doctrine, philosopher like Ishar Mitra says, by pursuing the passage of non-violent humanitarian and following the laws of nature given by God is the only route of freedom for human beings, where in the management of the society they have to take the economic challenge in their hands while keeping with own system of governance and own culture. Does Dr. Reza want judgment for the killing of his father?
At a meeting in 2005, a political meeting of the Awami League, he was assassinated by unknown persons. And even now, after 15 years, we do not know who were behind the killing. We have some ideas and we have better ideas, but no proper investigation has taken place. Speaking of him as a father, he was a wonderful father, very supportive to myself and my sister, Professor Nazli Kibria, in our education. He believed that both of us should get the best possible education in the world, and he spared no effort to that end and encouraged us very greatly.
Does he want to stay in the politics of Bangladesh?
The country, and intended to be in politics and to stand for election as a member of Gona Forum, the party of Dr. Kamal Hussein. As everyone knows, there was a so-called election where most of the votes were cast on the 29th of December rather than the official election date of the 30th. And since then I've been with Gona Forum, and in May I was chosen to be the General Secretary of Gona Forum, and I've been working with Dr. Kamal Hussein since then.
Maybe he wants everything. This is why he likes to see sky. The man who sees the sky is actually the man of nature.
We have to be people of nature. Economic stability is a major challenge to human civilization in this world. So, let's plant a sapling where we can be safe.
The generation of Kibria is not finished yet. Though one is gone from the generation, Reza Kibria is there for Bangladesh. Definitely for this planet.